Hi everyone, today we are also going to do the next IELTS. Cambridge IELTS, it's Cambridge IELTS 8, test 4, reading passage 2. The topic is biological control of pests. And we have three types of questions. First of all is about multiple choice questions. The next one is about yes, no, not given. And the last one is about correct ending, right? We have to match the correct endings of these sentences, statements. All right, let's first of all analyze the keywords. The use of pesticides has contributed to what? Food and Agriculture Organization has counted more than 300 agricultural pests which and cotton farmers in Central America began to use pesticides by the mid 1960s. Cotton farmers in Central America found that pesticides what? All right, the next one. Yes, no, not given. Disease spreading pests respond more quickly to pesticides than agricultural pests do. A number of pests are now born with an innate immunity to some pesticides. Biological control entails using synthetic chemicals to try and change the genetic makeup of the pest's offspring. And biocontrol is free from danger under certain circumstances. So, uh, discipline scale insects feed on what? Feed on something. And Neodumitia sangawani ate something. And this kind of pesticide blighted something. And Argentinian weevil may be successful in wiping out something. Salvinia molesta plagues something, right? So first of all, as like a true way of doing the readings, the technique that I am going to use is this. First of all, I have already translated and somehow comprehended all like keywords here. And the next step is that I'm about to translate and somehow get the idea of the paragraphs one by one. And so the continuous and reckless use of synthetic chemicals for the control of pests which pose a threat to agricultural crops and human health is proving to be counterproductive. Apart from engendering widespread ecological disorders, pesticides have contributed to the emergence of a new breed of chemical resistant, highly lethal superbugs. All right. As you see, I have just get the idea of the first paragraph and already highlighted some synonyms from the question number one. So what? What is this? Pesticides have contributed to. You see, we have this keyword, and pesticides has contributed to. We have the keyword here as well, which means the location of the right answer lies within this statement. So it's saying that pesticides have contributed to the emergence. This is the right answer. To the emergence of a new breed of chemical resistant. Chemical resistant means the new type of superbugs that they can put up with chemicals, so they have somehow protection against chemicals, right? And highly lethal superbugs. Lethal means poisonous, right? Like deadly, like terminal. So a change in the way ecologies are classified by archaeologists. So it's not like this. An imbalance in many ecologies around the world. Imbalance. Okay, so the prevention of ecological disasters in some part. Prevention of ecological disasters. You see it. So this is not somehow not the idea. So we don't have like archaeologists, agroecologists, right? An increase in the range of ecologies which can be usefully farmed. So apart from engendering widespread ecological disorder, so apart from engendering widespread ecological disorder, somehow this word expression makes sense. Why? Because we have like ecological in many ecologies around the world we have this kind of synonym here, and the word engendering is a synonym to like imbalance, right? Widespread ecological disorders. Widespread can be like many, right? Many and disorders, or widespread can be somehow the synonym to the word around the world can be like, because widespread means like spread all over the world. So and that's why it is going to be like B. Why? Because if you just pay attention here, we have the exact location here. You see, this is the location of the question and the passage, and this location indicates that we have two types of clauses, like a part of the statement. So this is the first clause of this sentence, and this is the other one. So this one just is not going to give the right expression, and that's why I decided to pay attention to here the other one, and it turns out to be the right answer, and that's why I'm going to somehow accept this like B as a right one. Okay, so the next one. All right, first of all, let's somehow put the number like the first one, right? The food and agriculture. So according to the recent study by the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, you see we have already the keyword here. FAO, we have the FAO here as well. So more than 300 species of agricultural pests have developed. You see, we have already the right location of the question, right? Have developed the resistance to a wide range of potent chemicals. So they have already developed resistance, like a prevention, like a defense to a potent chemicals. Wide range of means very many, right? So are no longer responding to most pesticides in use, can be easily controlled through the use of pesticides, continue to spread disease in a wide range of crops, may be used as part of biocontrols, replacement of pesticides. And here, if you just realize, it's saying that this kind of pests, they already developed like a defense, like a resistance, which means they are no longer responding to most pesticides in use, because they have somehow immunity, right? Developed resistance means no longer responding, which means they have already immunity, like most pesticides in use, which means to a wide range of potent chemicals can be a synonym to most pesticides in use, right? So this is the right answer, and I'm going to like make it red, and let's like write down number 2 here. And not to be left behind are the disease spreading pests, about 100 species of which have become immune to a variety of insecticides now in use. Not to be left behind are disease spreading pests. Disease spreading pests, about 100 species of which have become immune to a variety of insecticides now in use. And if you just realize, I have also located the right location for the question number 5. Same, so because we have the keyword disease spreading pests, right? Which means it totally makes sense. This is going to be the synonym, right? Respond more quickly to pesticides than agricultural pests do. So it's responding more quickly. So not to be left behind are the disease spreading, about 100 species of which have become immune to a variety of pesticides. So they have got an immunity. They have got an immunity, which means they have some protections. And here it's saying that respond more quickly to pesticides than agriculture. And as you realize, it's not like opposite idea, or it's not the same idea, which means it's going to be not given. So if you just realize, we have no any exact information about is it responding more quickly, or we don't know like the comparison between pesticides than agricultural pests. So we don't have such information here, and that's why it's going to be like not given. So, and one glaring disadvantage of pesticides application is that while destroying harmful pests, they also wipe out many useful non-targeted organisms, which keep the growth of the pest population in check. This results in what agroecologists call the treadmill syndrome. Because of their tremendous breeding potential and genetic diversity, many pests are known to withstand synthetic chemicals and bear offspring with a build-resistant pesticides. Okay, it looks like we have also the figure out the question number 6 here. Why? Because let's just pay attention here. So a number of pests do we have? Yes, many pests. We have the exact synonym, many pests, known to withstand synthetic chemicals, which means immunity, right? Withstand synthetic chemicals means they have immunity. So they have many pests withstand chemicals, right? Bear offspring. Offspring means now born, right? Which means offspring means like their children. Built-in resistance, with a built-in resistance too. And this word has also mean that they have immunity to some pesticides, right? And that's why it's going to be certainly like yes, 100%, because if you just pay attention, every single vocabulary you can somehow match the synonyms in the question and in the passage, like respectively. Okay, All right. So if you just pay attention, we have like cotton farmers. We don't have such information here. That's why I'm not going to pay attention. Question 3 here. And is it about like the types of insects? No, not yet. That's why I'm not also going to pay attention like question 9 to 13. That's why. So I've done like question 5 and 6. And if you just pay attention, this is kind of technique like that. I'm somehow reading the passages one by one, and my objective is to accomplish, like, to deal with the questions that exists in the passage, only in the passage. I'm not paying attention like the or sequence of the question. I'm just paying attention to the sequence of the passage. So this somehow saving my time, okay, because I'm just doing the first one, second one, fifth one, and sixth one at the same time. So the havoc that the treadmill syndrome can bring about in is well illustrated by what happened to cotton farmers in Central America. You see, I have somehow uh, located the question number 3 here. Okay, so cotton farmers in Central America in the early 1930s, basking in the glory of chemical-based intensive agriculture, the farmers avidly took to pesticides as a sure measure to boost crop yield, which means they began to use, sorry, right? They began to utilize pesticides as a sure measure, which means like a perfect solution to boost crop yield, which means to develop like a crop yield, right? And insecticides was applied 8 times a year in the mid 1940s, rising to 28 in a season in the mid 50s, the following the sudden proliferation of 3 new varieties of chemical resistant pests. So as you just pay attention here, I have already somehow like located the right answer here, which means this is the exact location. So began to use pesticides, which means like avidly took to pesticides, right? Okay. And because of an intensive government advertising campaign. So do we have like advertising campaign? Of course, no. In response to the appearance of new varieties of pests. New appearance? Do we have new appearance here? I don't think so, right? So we don't have like new appearance here. As a result of changes in the season and climate, do we have climate and season? And to ensure more cotton was harvested from each crop. This is somehow as a sure. As a sure means the perfect synonym to ensure. As a sure, ensure. To boost. To boost means like more cotton, right? And crop yield can be like harvested. Okay, and this is going to be the right answer. Of course it is, of course. And let's write down number 3 here. All right, the insecticide was applied 8 times a year in the mid 40s, rising to 28 in the season in the mid 50s, following the sudden proliferation of 3 new varieties of chemical resistant pests. By the mid 1960s, by the mid 1960s, this is going to be the location of the force, right? You see, we have already the location number 4. The situation took an alarming turn with the outbreak of 4 new pests, necessitating pesticide spraying to such an extent that 50% of the financial outlay on cotton production was accounted for by pesticides. Okay, and it's 70s. However, the question only asking about 60s, so that's why I am not going to pay attention here. Just this is going to be the right answer. So we're wiping out 50% of the pests plaguing the crops, we're destroying 50. And if you just realize all the alternative answers uh, is telling like 50%, and we have also 50%, and that's why do not pay attention like the number here, because this number somehow is really tricky for us, and that's why we need to extract the idea. The we here we need like kind of full comprehension. As long as I have a full understanding here, I can like figure out the right answer. If I don't have, so it's not going to be. Let's write down number 4. So necessitating pesticide spraying, so they are somehow spraying pesticide to such an extent that 50% of the financial outlay, what does it mean? What does this word mean? Outlay means total amount that they spend on something, right? The cost. Outlay means cost, like in money, right? It means costing, expenditure, and this is the perfect synonym to the word like costing. And like in case you have no idea what that it means, so don't like don't hope, right? Because if you don't know what does outlay means, so here you have no idea what's going to be here, because every single alternative answer covers the 50% like number. However, we have to pay attention to the other part of the statement, right? So financial outlay on cotton production was accounted for by pesticides, right? So it's talking about cost, right? It's talking about total amount they spent on. And outlay means spending on something, it means costing something, right? Financially, and that's why this is going to be the right answer, like D1. And so the question number 3 was D, and the number 4 is also D. Okay. So in the early 70s, the spraying frequently reached 70 times a season as the farmers pushed to the wall by the invasion of genetically stronger insect species. Most of the pesticides in the market today remain inadequately tested for properties that cause cancer and mutations, as well as other adverse effects on health, says a study by United States environmental agencies. The United States National Secure Resource Defense Council has found that DDT was the most popular of a long list of dangerous chemicals in use, right? In the face of the escalating, in case of the escalating perils from indiscriminate application of pesticides, a more effective and ecologically sound strategy of biological control, we have the keyword here, right, involving the selective use of natural enemies of the pest population is fast gaining popularity, though as yet it's a new field with limited potential. And the advantage of biological control, in contrast to the other method, is that it provides a relatively low cost, perpetual control system with a minimum of detrimental side effects. Minimum of detrimental side effects. When handled by experts, biocontrol is safe, not polluting and self-dispersing, right? And if you just pay attention, already question both 7 and 8 just have location here. And so biological control, we have the keyword biological control, and entails using synthetic chemicals. So entails synthetic chemicals to try and change the genetic makeup of the pest's offspring. And if you pay attention, the word synthetic, synthetic means unnatural, right? Synthetic means unnatural or artificial. So synthetic means artificial, okay? Here it's saying that involving the selective use of natural enemies of the pest population. So it's saying here they are using like natural enemy. It's not like artificial enemy, but the natural enemy. Enemy here, like enemy of the pest population, can be a synonym to the word chemicals, right? Natural enemy means like natural chemicals, right? Pest population and natural enemy, synthetic, artificial. So synthetic has the contradicting meaning to natural, and that's why it's going to be no, because as long as you just realize we have here like opposite idea, and in the text it's totally different, like opposite, and that's why this is like seven's location here, and it's going to be like no. And biocontrol is free from danger, and when handled by experts, biocontrol is safe. Biocontrol is safe means free from danger, right? And under certain circumstances, which means when handled by experts. So under certain circumstances means when handled experts. So, and that's why the question 8 is going to be yes, and this one is like question 8. And if you just realize we have left like the name of the pesticides, right? So the Commonwealth Institute of Biological Control, CIBC, in Bangalore, with its global network of research laboratories and field stations, is one of the most active non-commercial research agencies engaged in pest control by studying natural predators against parasites. So CIBC also serves as a clearinghouse for export and import of biological agents. So for pest control worldwide, CIBC successfully used the seed feeding weevil native to Mexico control the obnoxious Parthenium weed, known to exert devious influence on agriculture and human health in both India and Australia. just if you just pay attention here, we have like Argentinian weevil may be successful in wiping out. Successful. Wiping out what? So what is wiping out here? So forest grass. So similarly, the uh, Hyderabad-based regional research laboratory (RRL), supported by CIBC, is now trying out an Argentinian weevil for the eradication of water hyacinth, right? So I have no idea how it's going to be pronounced, but I have like located Argentinian weevil here. And wiping out, eradication. Eradication means wiping out, right? So wiping out what? Water hyacinth, right? So this is going to be the exact answer. So Parthenian wheat, Brazilian beans, Rascal, label, parasite, water. Yes, this is going to be like E1. Okay, so 12 is going to be like E1. Argentinian weevil may be successful in wiping out means eradication. So let's just write down 12 here. Another dangerous weed which has become a nuisance in many parts of the world, according to Mrs. Kaser Jamil of RL, the Argentinian weevil does not attack any other plant, and a pair of bugs could destroy the weed in 5 days. CIBC is also perfecting the technique for breeding parasites that they prey on scale insects. Notorious defoliants of fruit trees in the US, right? Fruit tree. So we have this scale feed on fruit tree. We have the fruit tree like D1. So this has been taken, and D1 also has been taken, like the answer to question 9. Question 9 is going to be like fruit tree. Okay. How effectively biological control can be pressed into services provided by the following examples. In the late 60s, when Sri Lanka's flourishing coconut groves were plagued by leaf mining hispides, right? Leaf mining hispides. Blighted what? Plagued, right? By plagued coconut groves. We have the word coconut groves here, and that's why this one, like leaf mining, is going to be the C1. Coconut trees, like coconut grove can be like synonym to coconut trees, right? And natural predator indigenous to India, Neodumatia sangawani, right, was found and useful in controlling rodents, grass scale insects. So we have grass scale insect. Do we have forest grass? Grass scale insect, of course we have. And it's like Neodumatia sangawani ate what? So it ate grass scale insects. So the answer is H here. This one is like taken. And question number what? 10, right? It's question number 10. So this is 10. This is like Coconut Grove. Which one? 11. So fruit tree is 9. This is water hyacinth, 12. And that was devouring forest grass in many parts of the US. Controlling roads, that was devouring forest. The roads, the road grass scale insect, that was devouring. So by using Neochitina brucei, a beetle native to Brazil, scientists at Kerala Agricultural University freed a 12-kilometer-long canal from the clutches of the weed Salvinia molesta, popularly called African pile in Kerala. About 30,000 hectares of rice fields. So it's about rice, right? It's about rice. 1 and 13. Let's write down. And we have also the rice field here. So the ninth one is D. 10 is about H. C, E, B, right? So we have 13, 10, 11, 9, 12, 8, 7, 4, 3, 6, 2, 1, of course. And this is all for today. Thank you for your attention.